You meet someone new at a party. Something feels off. You can't explain it. Your gut just knows. But the real answer is far stranger than instinct. It has nothing to do with what they said. It has everything to do with their face. Your brain is scanning it right now without asking your permission. It is comparing the shape of their nose, the width of their eyes, the curve of their jaw, against a template it built decades ago. A template made from your mother's face, your father's face, every face you loved before you could speak. And in a fraction of a second, it hands down a verdict: trust or don't trust. You just call it a feeling. This is not a metaphor. It is a measurable bias, and it has a name. Psychologists call it the familiar face effect. Robert Zions, a researcher who studied how the mind responds before it thinks, ran experiments in the 1960s that changed how scientists understood liking itself. He showed people simple images, some seen once, some seen many times. The more a person saw an image, the more they liked it. No new information was given. Familiarity alone did the work. He called it the mere exposure effect, and faces obey it just as ruthlessly as shapes do. You have never met this stranger before, so why would exposure apply? Because your brain doesn't file faces one at a time. It builds an average, a ghost face made of thousands of overlapping features. Researchers Lisa De Bruyn and colleagues at the University of Aberdeen tested this directly. They digitally morphed photographs of strangers to subtly resemble each participant's own face. Participants had no idea. Yet again and again, they rated the morphed faces as more trustworthy, someone they'd hand their wallet to. You are, on some level, drawn to faces that look like your own. It sounds narcissistic, but it isn't vanity, it's inheritance. For most of human history, the people who shared your face were the people who shared your genes, your kin, your tribe. A resemblance wasn't decoration, it was a signal, a rough biological password that said this person is one of mine. The people who read that signal correctly, extending trust to kin and caution to outsiders, were more likely to survive long enough to raise children who did the same. Over hundreds of thousands of years, that bias didn't fade. It sank deeper. It became something you'd swear was just a feeling. Kin recognition shows up across the animal kingdom. Ground squirrels distinguish full siblings from half-siblings by scent alone, sharing burrows more readily with closer kin. Evolution built recognition out of whatever raw material was available. In a visually dominant primate like us, it built one out of the face. So what happens when your brain meets a face that looks nothing like anything it has ever known? This is where the story darkens. Faces outside a viewer's own group are processed differently. Psychologist Elizabeth Phelps and her collaborators used brain imaging to show that unfamiliar outgroup faces could trigger a measurably different response in the amygdala, the brain's early warning system, even in people who consciously rejected any bias. The conscious mind and the ancient one don't agree. The ancient one moves first. This isn't proof you're broken. It's proof that a tool built for small tribes is now running in a world of 8 billion faces it was never designed to sort. And here's what should surprise you. The bias fades with exposure. Repetition, the same force that built liking in Zions's experiments, can retrain the trust circuit itself. Studies on cross-race recognition show people who grow up around diverse faces, or who simply spend more time around unfamiliar ones later in life, gradually lose the recognition gap. The brain doesn't need new DNA. It needs new data. Every face it learns becomes one more face folded into the composite, widening the definition of familiar and of trustworthy. The party, the stranger, the unexplainable gut feeling. It was never really about them. It was about every face that came before them. Every face that fed you, held you, kept you safe, long before you had words for safety. Think about the people you trust most right now. Chances are, without ever noticing, you were drawn to some of them for reasons that had nothing to do with what they said first. And think about the people you misjudged, for no reason you could name. It might not have been them at all. It might have been an ancient filter, still running, still sorting the world for a version of it that no longer exists. You can't switch the mechanism off, but you can feed it more data. Every unfamiliar face you spend real time with becomes a little less unfamiliar, and the ancient part of your brain, slowly, learns to stop flinching. So next time a feeling arrives before a word is spoken, pause before you trust it completely. It isn't wrong exactly. It's just old, still quietly looking for your mother's face in every room you walk into.